Prince Harry thought stepping away from the royal family would open doors, not close them. But what happened at the Dorian TV Awards? That was a masterclass in how Hollywood doesn't play by palace rules. Let's rewind. Harry, no stranger to drama, shows up expecting red carpets and reverence. Instead, what he got was a cold, glittery slap of reality. Now, the Dorian Awards aren't exactly the Oscars, but don't get it twisted, they matter. It's not some casual industry mixer. It's where streaming titans, groundbreaking actors, and cultural trailblazers come to toast each other in a room dripping with ego, champagne, and expensive cologne. And into this glides Prince Harry, suited up, smiling, maybe even thinking this was his crowd. But behind that grin, a royal demand was already brewing. According to insiders, Harry's team sent an email to the event organizers ahead of time, not to confirm the chicken option or to check if there'd be a photo op. No, the ask was specific and, let's be honest, tone-deaf. He wanted to be introduced as His Royal Highness, Prince Harry. 3 words, HR. That's it. That was the entire hill he was ready to die on. Problem is that title. He gave it up in 2020. It wasn't a suggestion or a casual relinquishment. It was legally binding as part of the whole Meghan saga. He can't use it commercially. Not in documentaries, not in book deals, and definitely not at a Hollywood gala. The organizers didn't budge. And why would they? This wasn't the Queen's Jubilee. It was a party where actors known for pushing boundaries were being celebrated. Royal hierarchy not on the invite list. They politely declined the HR request and said he'd be introduced as Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. That should have been enough, right? Apparently not. The night of the event arrives. Flashbulbs popping, glitter everywhere, celebs trading cheek kisses, and there's Harry walking the carpet solo. No Meghan, no explanations, just Harry in a tug, trying to look unfazed. But people noticed he was stiff, too rehearsed. That trademark sparkle in his eye gone, replaced by something harder to define, like he was trying to prove something to a room that had already moved on. The vibe inside was electric until it wasn't. The host, smooth as ever, steps up to introduce the Duke. And this is where everything unraveled. Please welcome Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. That's it. No HR, no royal fluff, just a stripped-down version of who he is now. For a heartbeat, the room kept clapping, but the energy shifted. You didn't need to be a body language expert to read Harry's face. The smile vanished, his jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed like someone had just insulted his bloodline in public. What should have been a 10-second walk to the stage turned into a complete spectacle. Harry didn't get up. He just sat there motionless. And when he finally did move, it wasn't toward the podium. It was toward the exit. No polite wave, no nod to the crowd. Just a man in a tailored suit storming through a ballroom like it was a war zone. The double doors slammed open with a force that echoed across the marble floor. People gasped. Phones came out. This wasn't a moment. It was a meme waiting to happen. And boy, did it happen fast. Within minutes, Twitter was ablaze. TikTok had clips. Instagram had captions. One viral post showed a toddler in a plastic crown throwing a tantrum. Caption Harry after not hearing HR. Another had a split screen. Meghan sipping green juice on one side. Harry mid-walk out on the other. The internet wasn't just laughing. It was feasting. Inside the ballroom, confusion rippled like a sudden gust of wind. 1 minute everyone was buzzing about streaming deals and Emmy predictions. The next, they were watching a royal meltdown unfold in real time. Guests turned to each other, eyebrows raised, murmuring, "Did he just leave?" The applause that was meant to welcome him fizzled mid-clap. And just like that, the gala spotlight shifted. For the organizers, it was a disaster. For the internet, pure gold. Within seconds, the clips hit Social media. You didn't even need context. Just a video of a man in a tuxedo storming out, looking like he'd been snubbed by an entire continent. Comments poured in by the thousands. Bro forgot he quit the job, but still wants the perks. Hollywood doesn't do crowns. We do credits and clout. Savage didn't begin to cover it. The most brutal part. This wasn't even a snub. It was policy. The event's producers weren't making a statement. They were following protocol. Harry gave up his right to the HR title when he left the royal grind. It wasn't personal. It was paperwork. But Harry's reaction made it very personal, and suddenly the whole city was watching him under a different light. Back in Montecito, Meghan was nowhere in sight. Her absence didn't go unnoticed. The Duchess, usually right by Harry's side for moments like this, skipped the gala entirely. Officially, her team blamed a scheduling conflict. Unofficially, Hollywood insiders weren't buying it. You don't miss a red carpet if you want to be seen. Not in this town. Rumors started swirling. Was she avoiding the drama? Did she warn him not to push the HR issue? Was this a calculated move to protect her own image? People close to the couple hinted that Meghan had grown weary of Harry's obsession with titles. She's been laser-focused on brand building, reputation, and staying above the noise. And nothing ruins brand equity faster than being caught in the middle of a public meltdown with cameras rolling. At the after-party, the whispers got louder. One A-list actor clinked their champagne glass and joked, "Looks like the gala did what Buckingham couldn't." They told him no. Laughter followed, but behind the jokes was a deeper shift. Studio heads, showrunners, deal-makers. They weren't amused. They were wary. The entertainment industry is built on unpredictability, but not that kind. Executives want bold. They want visionary, but they also want stable, predictable, professional. And a prince throwing a fit over missing initials didn't scream any of that. One producer reportedly said, "You can work with divas or you can work with dukes. You can't work with both." The fallout was fast. Phone calls meant to explore collaborations went silent. Meetings got rescheduled. One streaming platform quietly paused a pitch meeting that had been on the books for weeks. Nobody wanted to touch the story, at least not publicly. But behind closed doors, it was the only thing people were talking about. Harry had become the story, and not in a good way. His demand for HR had backfired so spectacularly, it made headlines in both Page 6 and The Guardian. It's a crossover nobody asked for. But the real damage wasn't the memes or the hot takes. It was a shift in perception. Harry, the rebellious prince chasing purpose, was now seen as a man chasing validation. And worse, he wasn't getting it. Hollywood doesn't run on bloodlines. It runs on buzz. And while Harry was still buzzy, the narrative had flipped. He wasn't a trailblazer anymore. He was a punchline. And the punchline was just starting to spread. Meghan's name started trending, not because she was there, but because she wasn't. Theories exploded across Reddit threads and podcast panels. Had she distanced herself on purpose? Was she fed up with Harry's fixation on the royal past? Some fans defended her choice to skip the gala, saying it was smart not to get dragged into drama. Others saw it as a silent protest. But the most viral theory suggested something deeper, a growing rift. According to multiple sources close to Montecito, Meghan had warned Harry not to push for the HR title. She reportedly saw the Dorian Gala as a chance to network, not posture. But Harry, still clinging to some piece of the crown, insisted. And when it didn't go his way, she stayed home. Maybe it was foresight. Maybe it was frustration. Either way, the optics were brutal. While Harry imploded in a ballroom, Meghan was photographed in workout gear, calm, collected, and nowhere near the fallout. The damage wasn't limited to image. Industry momentum, once firmly in their favor, was now on pause. Meghan had already lost a Spotify deal, and their Netflix partnership had quietly slipped from top tier to teetering. Executives began whispering about diminishing returns. Their Doka series hadn't pulled the numbers they'd hoped for, and public interest in their projects was fading. Now, this outburst had turned potential collaborators into skeptics. One high-level studio insider said it plainly: "It's hard to build a brand on breaking away from a monarchy, then melt down when they won't call you a prince." Another was even harsher. "He can't keep playing victim while asking for royal perks. You either leave the castle or stay in it. You don't get to cash checks from both sides." The PR machines tried spinning it. A source close to Harry told a friendly outlet that he was merely disappointed, not furious. Much like numerous deputies, he could have tried to spin the scene or glitched out if he was merely disappointed, not fury. But the footage didn't lie. That face, that body language, the way he walked out like the carpet had personally offended him. None of it said mildly disappointed. It screamed wounded ego. And the crowd saw it for what it was. For a long time, Harry and Meghan had been able to control the narrative. They had Oprah. They had Netflix. They had sympathetic journalists. But control is slippery in a town like Hollywood. One bad look, one wrong headline, and the tide shifts. And the tide wasn't just shifting. It was pulling them out to sea. The public wasn't sympathetic this time. Polls showed that the majority sided with the Dorian organizers. People were tired of the Dorian organizers, tired of hearing about leaving the monarchy, only to see the monarchy being used as a branding tool. The authenticity that once made the Sussexes compelling had started to crack. And once that crack showed, people stopped squinting. For Harry, this wasn't just a bad night. It was a warning shot. Hollywood might have been enchanted by the fairy tale once, but it doesn't tolerate reruns. This town rewards evolution, not nostalgia. And in the end, it doesn't matter who your grandmother is. If you walk into a room thinking you're owed something, Hollywood will happily show you the door. So now all eyes are on what comes next. Will Harry finally embrace the new identity he spent years preaching about? Or will he keep chasing a title that holds no power outside palace walls? Because the truth is, in America, there are no royal rules. Just one: stay relevant or get replaced. And as the laughter fades, the spotlight's still waiting for the next move, not the next meltdown.